Abdu'l-Baha explained that all living things signifies composition and their death, decomposition. But universal elements or atoms do not become absolutely annihilated and destroyed. No, their non-existence is simply transformation. For instance, when man's physical body is annihilated, it becomes dust. It does not become absolutely non-existent. It still exists in a shape of dust, but transformation has taken place. So this composition is accidentally decomposed. The annihilation of all other beings is the same. For existence do not become absolutely non-existent, and absolute non-existence do not become existence. The universal elements or atoms that enter the combination of human organism were one time part of the mineral kingdoms. Whilst in that kingdom, it went through myriads of changes in the evolution of that kingdom, that these atoms eventually become part of the nutrients of the soil. And the roots of the trees and plants absorb these nutrients to its kingdoms, and these atoms are now transferred to the vegetable kingdom. And the animal consume the fruits of these trees and plants, and these atoms are now transferred to the animal kingdom. And we human consume the meat of the animal, as well as the fruits of these trees and plants, and these atoms are now transferred to the human kingdom. And when we die, our physical body begins the process of decomposition, and these atoms are now transferred from the human kingdom back to the mineral kingdom. This transferring of the atoms from kingdom to kingdom is continuously in a perfect regularity and in a perfect order. It's clear from these explanations that universal elements or atoms do not become absolutely annihilated and destroyed. No, their non-existence is simply transformation from one kingdom to another. But all of these kingdoms except man, according to Abdu'l-Baha, are under the influence and controls of nature. None can escape the rules of nature. The colossal sun cannot deviate a hair's breadth from the rules of nature. The bulky elephant, with its mighty power and strength, cannot escape the controls of nature. But the diminutive being, through the power of his mind, an inherent property of his soul, a divine reality that man possesses that distinguishes him from the animals, enables him to break the rules of nature and even use nature to his advantage. For instance, according to the rules of nature, man's body is heavy and supposed to stay on the surface of the earth. Man break that rule of nature and imitate the bird and soar the skies in aeroplanes. According to the rules of nature, man cannot stay under water for a long period of time. He won't be able to breathe and he will die. Man break that rule of nature and invented submarines and sound the depths of the ocean. One of the great power of nature is the power of electricity. This violent force was kept in a secret chamber of nature, and according to nature it should stay there forever. Man, through the inventive power of his mind and inherent properties of his soul, a divine reality that man possesses that distinguishes him from the animals, enables him to break through this secret chamber of nature and brought this violent force from the invisible plane to the visible plane and imprisoned it in glass globe and fluorescent tubes. It's clear from this explanation that man possesses a divine reality that distinguishes him from the animals, enables him to break the rules of nature, and even use nature to his advantage. And this divine reality is the human spirit, that the scientific philosophers called it the rational soul. And Abdu'l-Baha designates human spirit and rational soul as meant the same thing. What is the human spirit or rational soul? According to Abdu'l-Baha, it is a one indivisible substance. The scientific philosophers demonstrate it as a simple element. Simple here meaning not composed. It's not a composition of elements. Our body is a composition of elements, and it is necessary for it to decompose. Our spirit or soul is not a composition of elements, and it's not necessary for it to decompose. Therefore, it lives on after the decomposition of the physical body. But our souls, according to Abdu'l-Baha, have two aspects. One is divine or angelic, the other is satanic. If we allowed love, kindness, trustworthy characters, and all the virtues into our lives, will become divine or angelic. But if we allowed injustice, hatred, untrustworthy characters, and all the vices into our lives, will become satanic. According to Abdu'l-Baha, we are under the influence of two forces, the thought force and the animal force, and they are partners. Each one is trying to pull or drag our souls to be under its control. And of all the virtues of God, none we are subjected to its power. According to Abdu'l-Baha, we are subjected to the power of the lust. I use myself here to demonstrate the point. If we are subjected to the power of the lust, and I watch pornography, I'm not doing my thought force a favor. In fact, I'm helping my animal force to take control and subsequently conquer the divine or angelic aspect of my soul, and I become a Satan. When I reach that stage of Satan, all my thoughts will be evil. Every woman I see on the street will be tampered with and interfered with my imagination, and vice versa. There is only one way for humanity to heighten their spirituality and reach the divine or angelic aspect of their souls, and that is through the creative power of the words and teachings of the manifestations of God, and today the words and teachings of the Blessed Beauty, His Holiness Baha'u'llah. This is one reason why we encourage you to read the writings of Baha'u'llah. Baha'u'llah revealed vast volumes of writings, and these writings were meant for everybody, regardless of your status or your belief. Baha'u'llah ordained these writings. It has the power and potency to influence your soul, though you may not at first realize it. Thank you, and I wish you well. Whaftai lava, man wila whafongfong mai mula whasausanga Samoa. So i fua.